My name is Matthew Townsend. I'm from Russell County High School, and I've been doing this for the past last year, so my junior year, so I guess the past 2 years now. We were invited on my second semester, my junior year, and been doing it ever since then. And then over my junior year summer, so my senior year summer, whichever one you want to classify it as, they invited me up to come work for them or volunteer for them at their robot camp. Whenever it's like that week of the competition, or like the 2 weeks before, where like I know it's coming up, my brain just like flicks into a mode to where it's just like, okay, I'm doing this. You know, I'll be cooking, I'll be doing anything, I'll be working out, and all of a sudden I'll just be like, that needs to happen on the bots, or like, I need to do this real fast, or like, oh man, this is a great idea. Whenever I was younger, I always wanted to be an inventor. You know, I was what I always say as I'm building together Lego bricks. And then this actually gave me that first like real world experience of the just battle bots in general, or building like actual robots. And then it also gave me a sample of that workforce. And then like doing this, it really did influence me just like, okay, so this is what I want. I don't just want to be a mechanical engineer, because that falls under every single category of engineering practically, except for civil. And then I was like, okay, so I actually want to do this. And then it went from there to me just looking at different stuff like mechatronics and just robots in general. Yeah. I would just say that critical thinking, that problem solving, because I mean, in everyday life you have problems left and right, but this has just made me just, whenever I see a problem, immediately think about solutions. What's the best way to fix it? What's the fastest? What's the easiest? What's what actually work the best? That's just my mindset now, and it's kind of just trained me into that. And it has also just taught me so much about leadership in general, because it kind of just showed me how do I need to actually put my team together if we want to function properly. Like even whenever we were in there, I was telling this person to do this, then I would stop and I would look behind me. I'm like, hey, I need you guys, get the battery chargers ready. As soon as we're done with this, I want the batteries out of the bots, put on the chargers. But just like kind of like that head chain of command where you're listing off everything that needs to be done. It's kind of just taught me how to actually do that and not just sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. My favorite part? I would say once you get done building your first battle system or a battle system, actually being able to put all that together, all the parts just fitting in perfectly how you imagined it, and then you being able to do one test run and the test run work. The first time your test run works perfectly, it's the best feeling you can have.
I bet, yeah. I'm sure that happens very rarely.
Oh, absolutely.
Almost never.
My name is Brian Israel. I am a senior at Carter G. Woodson Academy here in Lexington, Kentucky, and I've been in RGL for about 3 or 4 years now. Honestly, I wasn't really, going back to like my freshman year, I wasn't really much of a talker. So I think that RGL really helps with like teamwork and like building skills, because obviously there's 3 to 4 robots per team. So communicating effectively, you know, throughout the week, each week, going into the shop to work on them. Obviously, you know, you got to have teamwork to, you know, get the correct results. So I think that's just one of the biggest things that RGL has taught me. So RGL, I think like is like a imagination type of thing, because you know, like learning like how to build weapon systems is obviously different from, you know, math, y equals mx plus b or whatever. So I think it's just a imagination thing with RGL, you know, just like really letting your imagination loose. Like you can actually explore different options as to where, you know, homework in school, you know, you're gonna learn something in the classroom, you gotta go home and do it. It's not as entertaining, you know, or whatever, but, you know, RGL, you can feel entertained by it, meet new people, learn a lot of things. I just think that overall, like obviously growing up in life, you're gonna have to have the skills in the classroom, but you're also gonna have to have team working, networking skills like you do in RGL. A lot of people, I think, that stay in their shell really don't get to express like what they want to do or open up to new opportunities, because, you know, they've never had the opportunity to go out and network and things like that, like RGL gives us the opportunity to do. Yeah. Have to say match day. Like, you know, not a lot of people see what goes on behind the scenes. So, but, you know, just doing the work to build up to get to the match days is quite entertaining. You know, seeing the ring that they've built, all the lights and all of the people coming out to support. It's just a crazy environment to be in, and it's a fun environment. Obviously, a big thank you. Without y'all, a lot of this would not be possible. Um, and I thank you all for all of the opportunities that you have presented to me and all of the students that are in RGO.
My name is Frances Aller. I am team captain of Nelson County High School down in Bardstown, and I have been doing RGL ever since it started, which was a year ago, so for 2 years now. I guess the most fun is being able to actually compete, because I do a lot of competitions, many state competitions, but this one I'm the most proud of, as usually all of those have very specific things. But with RGL, I can do welding, like I've learned to weld. With RGL, I could do electronics, coding, all that. I can also design the weapons. I love weapon designing. But my favorite part is actually going and competing and kind of being in that crowd, being able to see my family and driving the bots, trying out new remotes, things like that, just testing how far my bots could go. And if they break, I'll just find a new way to fix them. That's the fun part about it. Everything is a test drive on that field. I've learned to control an environment. Controlling an environment is really great for management positions and all, not to mention that teamwork skill and that just kind of quick thinking, quick focus and all. You don't want to get ahead of yourself, and that's what I've also learned in this. And that's important in a job aspect I found when going into the workforce. So a lot of the skills I've learned here as captain, I've also learned to go perfectly into the workforce. Actually, my school, my teacher, he is Charlie Cantrell. He's the current coach of RGL. He started a whole class for this, as we found having after school time was not an option for many of our members. And due to our ATC currently is in renovation of the making this video, we're still not able to return to our school, probably won't next year. The second best option was to make a whole new class. We basically, in that class, I think about everything that goes into it. From my normal schoolwork, I'm not doing papers, I'm not doing online work. I may do calculations, I may do math, I may like calculate the RPM of a new blade, balance it, stuff like that. But I'm working with computer programs, sometimes the 3D model. I'm having a more hands-on experience than any other class I've ever had, because everything is hands-on. You are never in there in a moment where you're not doing something, making something, designing something, or putting your hands to use. And that's something that cuts off from the rest of my classes, is that I'm constantly doing something, and I'm doing something where I could choose what part I'm doing. All our bots wouldn't have been made without creativity. Some have tiny bits of inspiration from real life battle bots. Like maybe you're looking at Sabretooth or one of the older bots. Yes, we've taken one or two inspiration from them, but the rest is from our heads. You had to have that mind to be able to put something on a board, to be able to put something on a paper and be like, okay, this is the plan. Whether it's like mathematics, you have to be able to have the creativity with mathematics to be like, this output will make this is how much power we need for it, this is how much we must take back, will the battery die in this, in the whole 9 yards. I helped design the blades and everything, and really what it is that you're just adding science and math into it, and creativity is what helps me make the design for these and also makes it more colorful, because you can't have a bot and have it plain. You also have to design it to make it look good, and that's where my creativity and many of my other teammates' creativities come in, is making these bots look good and powerful.
Hey, I'm Charlie Cantrell, and I'm with Nelson County Area Technology Center. We're changing the name to the Up Center, and this is a renovation project that we're doing. And we have a variety of programs in the school, from everything from health science to welding and IT. I'm the IT instructor, carpentry, and this has been a cross-disciplinary effort. We've been doing this is our second year. Last year we were state champions, and so far, cross our fingers, we've never lost a melee. We're undefeated last season and this season, and so we'll see what happens today. The teamwork has got to be the big part of it. I mean, the fact of seeing them come together and being able to talk and interact, and the way that they take it seriously, they really take ownership of it. You know, there's times when we first showed up today where you show up in that really compressed time frame and everything's condensed and stressful, and seeing that they're handling that, they're not falling apart, they're handling that stress and they're bringing it together, even though maybe not quite to my satisfaction, But the point being is they're getting attuned to that acute stress to be able to manage that and bring that together and work as a team. And they're willing to, because we tell them leave the egos on the sideline and they bring it in and they're actually able to do that. The technical skills, there's a welding student and he's a great student, and he can never really find his niche as far as doing the welding skills. And he started welding for the robots, and he could already weld before. It was just one of these things like, I don't know if I'm crazy about welding. Now every opportunity he's like, I want to weld this, I want to weld this, I want to weld this. And so, and then one of the other students, he was determined he wants to be pit crew only. And that student, he's like not interested in driving. He said, I just want to be pit crew. And tell you what, I was worried that for a second that he wasn't going to be able to make it today because we depend heavily upon him. And then the team captain, as far as leadership, I'm not sure what I'm going to do when the team captain, Francis, leaves. And so Francis is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And so I'm probably going to be like crying, where's Francis? Can you please be a high school student again? So yeah, it's both the teamwork and the technical skills. Really good to see that coming along. You got to figure most of these kids have never used a hand drill unless they happen to be in a construction trade. You got to figure many of them have not been exposed to welding. If I went back to Francis again, Francis sort of humbled me in welding skills, and so I learned how to weld as well. I had the welding instructor, and also I helped with summer 2024. I helped with Robot Gladiator League workshop at Newton's Attic, and a couple of the instructors there said, here you go, here's the welder, this is how you weld. And so bottom line is that they've gained these skills and improved upon them, and they'll be able to take those with them. They'll be skills that will serve them well into the future, because let's say if they've got a grill at home and they want to build a stand for it, rather than buying that grill, they'll build it and they'll get that satisfaction from it. So you can translate that to almost all the disciplines when you talk about all the different things that are involved in just using the screwdrivers and the hand tools and the power tools and the grinders and the welders and all these different disciplines that are required to make these robots work. And so I really pound mine probably harder than maybe sometimes I should, but if you have high expectations, we find that the kids will rise to that level. And so keep those high expectations, and those skills will follow them into the future. And not only that, but for future work ethic on those soft skills, getting them to work together as a team, getting them to be able to find what needs to be done and say, hey, Mr. C, what needs to be done? Do this. Okay, I'm on it. And they just get it done. So I joked with the superintendent of Nelson County Schools, and when he came to our home match, and Wes Bradley and Wes and I were talking, and I said, let's be honest though, Wes. I said, who else would pay me to play with toys? I mean, let's be honest. I had talked to Don and Kathy about my experience last year, and at the end of state championship, I got kind of emotional because it's been a dream of mine to do some type of robot combat to some degree. And for me, I'm not the one operating the controls. I get to have my input, like do that or don't do that, or this is how you do this, or this is how you shouldn't do it that way. And I kind of get to live vicariously through these students, because fielding something for the BattleBots TV show is one thing, and it's going to be seemingly out of reach for some of us here in the humble state of Kentucky. But yet Newton's Attic has made that happen and has put that within the reach, and it's something that I wouldn't have dreamed of being able to do as far as an initiative in Kentucky, and was glad to see that come along. And one of the things I had told Don is, really, initially I didn't apply to be part of the RGO because I thought, they wouldn't pick me. Why would they pick us? Why would they pick me? And shock and all later, maybe after today, the destruction that we were able to cause, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was good that they picked me, because I would have missed out on that, the students would have missed out on that, the crowd would have missed out on that. And so for me, that satisfaction of seeing the students, the elation and the sadness and the stress and all that, maybe attempting to live vicariously, and then through some of the stress of my own, thinking, it hadn't been that, I'm thinking this is stressful and I'm not sure I want to do it, but I'm sure next week I'll think, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Maybe I'll do it again. Yeah.
My name is Dayu Choi. I'm from Eminence High School, and I've done Robot Gladiator League for 3 years now. I think one of the biggest challenges that we faced is kind of coming from a smaller school. So our team, kind of compared to a lot of the other schools in the league, we have like less than 10 members. And so sometimes it takes a lot of individual effort to kind of show up to practice and work, and kind of dividing up work. A lot of people take on a lot of roles. But I think in that case, we've just kind of individually been able to really pull our strength well and kind of each provide like a valuable asset to the team and work together really well. I think my biggest takeaway is just kind of serving as like an older member on the team, a lot of leadership and especially kind of communication, because sometimes it can be hard trying to communicate like, what to do during a match and kind of leading people, this is what we're going to try to get done. And so I think some of the biggest skills that I've learned from my experience with RGL is leadership. I think my favorite part has just been spending time with the team, because luckily all of us are like really good friends with each other, and so it just brings a lot of great energy and a lot of fun. Some of the biggest things is, you can learn all these skills, but I think the real value in learning those types of engineering skills is kind of finding a way to apply that, and it kind of creates a better relationship with the skills that you learn. So I think for me personally, it's been a great outlet to like kind of channel your passion to something that you can really invest your time in, and it kind of creates that outlet, that we can use those skills, but also kind of make it more realistic to see like what we can do with it in the future. So a stronger application for it.
I'm Jennifer Carter, and I'm the director of the Center for STEM Plus Excellence and the Space Trek program at Morehead State University. And I met Newton's Attic back in the fall of 2021 when I had been awarded a grant to create the Center for STEM Plus Excellence and to deliver informal STEM programs for kids in kindergarten through 12th grade in Kentucky. And I visited with the intent of learning more about other organizations in the state that were doing informal STEM education. And I was really blown away when I toured their facility and I saw the level of like deep learning that they were doing with younger kids. I mean, getting them in a shop, using tools like a saw and teaching them to weld, that was really impressive to me. When they told me about the Robot Gladiator training program, I thought this is a really great program that really transfers knowledge, skills, and abilities to kids that are needed in a high-tech workforce. And so it was at that point I really decided that partnering with Newton's Attic would be a great move for the Center for STEM Plus Excellence. And we hosted our first Robot Gladiator training camp. From there, the idea evolved into how can we expand this to more students, and therefore the Robot Gladiator League concept formed. Students who participate in the Robot Gladiator League get two things I think that are unique. One, they get pen to paper skills that are directly applied to something tangible that they create. And by create, what I mean is they then get hand to tool skills, and they bring to fruition totally from scratch something that they designed. That's rare in a high school setting. That's rare to find in a high school classroom or any other kind of high school program that I've seen. We often talk about problem solving as being a critical skill, a life skill. But it's rare to get a true opportunity to have academic skills and a real world problem intersecting. And so with Robot Gladiator League, students get a real hands-on experience where they know they're going to face a problem. That's their battle, battling an opponent. And they have to creatively conceptualize a battle system that is going to defeat another team's battle system, that their design is coming from their own creativity. So you have to foresee or plan in advance for a variety of things that might come at you. And sometimes you go up against a team that has a battle system that you never conceptualized. So really, the creativity piece of the Robot Gladiator League, in the sense that students have to conceptualize things that have yet to happen, is really a critical aspect of problem solving that we don't see in other high school programs. Personally, one of my favorite things that I've witnessed as being part of the Robot Gladiator League is a team of students who come together and they have unique skills. The skills aren't the same. And what they learn is that when you are problem solving or you're trying to achieve a goal, your objective should never be being with people who are just like you, that know what you know, that have your skills. And I think that the RGL teams recognize that a diverse group truly is the key to success. You need people who can do different things that are different from what you can do. You need people who can come in with different backgrounds and perspectives that add to the problem-solving strategy. And I've seen that amongst almost all of these Robot Gladiator League teams. I've heard kids say this offline, kind of like, oh, we had to run down and talk to the welding class about this problem, and they did this task for us. We leveraged our computer science friends for this piece of our code that we needed. But they're learning at a very young age that being part of a team means that you're trying to find people with diverse skill sets and backgrounds, and that all of that coming to the table is a best solution for problem solving.
Hi, my name is Michael Combs. I coach the Craft Academy at Morehead State University, and I work for the Space Science Center at Morehead State University. Craft Academy is a dual credit academy that hosts junior and senior high school students at Morehead State University. Really, I didn't know what I was getting into when I signed up for this. I had an idea, but I didn't realize that I would enjoy it as much or maybe even more than the students do. The program is an exceptional program. I have students coming in, and I even forget they're high school students. They come in and they have little to no experience in machine tools and things like that, and these guys get right in there. I've got them running different types of manufacturing machines, and working with the students has been the best part of this for me, because when they come in and then I see them grow and see them want to do things. I had this one young lady that was afraid to weld. I had most everybody had welded and she hadn't done it yet, and I finally talked her into doing it. And she had the best welds of everybody in that class, so I handed it over to her and she was showing everybody else what they needed to do. So I was really impressed with that. So really for me, it's the experience with the students that has really been, and even just working with, being part of RGL and working with Newton's Attic has just been phenomenal. I'll give you an example. Last night, yesterday evening, we had found out we had lost motors and speed controllers, and I didn't have any spare parts. So I called up Newton's Attic. They said, we have the parts, and it just turns out that my boss and his wife was in Lexington, so they brought us the parts, and we got them at 7:30 last night, and by 9:30, we had everything working and was ready for the day. And the students, they didn't complain, they patiently waited, they came in, they worked late, and it's just been, even in tough situations, it's been really good. Well, I'll be honest with you, in the classes I teach at Morehead State University, labs are involved, and oftentimes theory's not enough. So I teach in class, and then I go straight into lab, and then we do what we just talked about. And I feel that helps solidify the theory, and just the hands-on experience the students get is really what brings it home for them. So for me, even for me as learning, I like to get my hands on things, I like to build things. So in design, if I just sit there and design something and never got to see the end result, I probably wouldn't do any design work at all, because the design work, getting to the finished product is really crossing the goal line and seeing, and that's where I get a good feeling about things. So I like seeing that for the students. And just to add on to that, when they're struggling, that's okay, because if everything comes easy, you're not going to learn as much. So when the light goes off and they get it, that's the moment I look for, that I really enjoy. For this, one of the things I worried about the most in coming in this is, in our group, we have 15 students, and that's a large number of students. And I was worried about how it would be to manage that. And it turns out that they help manage themselves. So you start to, you truly see these students going from not really knowing what to do, and you give them a little direction and they take off, and it really has been impressive. I forget they're high school students because I teach at a university, and they are excellent students. It's the hands-on. It's the actually getting your hands on things that you haven't maybe had a chance to do before, or work with somebody that has that type of experience. So you can honestly read as much as you want, but it's a little different between reading it and then applying it, and so you do something once, you might be able to do it, okay? But through Robot Gladiator, these students went from asking what this machine is to now they don't even have to talk to them. They walk over, they know how to handle things and do it safely. Them coming in and just learning something totally foreign to them, and in a short matter of time feeling confident to use that equipment and know how to apply it. So for my role is, students come to me with an idea, they have no experience, they're not sure how to get there, so I tell them to draw something up, come up with an idea, and then we'll talk about it. And then I'll say, well, this is a good idea, but maybe you want to look at it this way, or they don't even know what's available to them to use. So it's my job to show them what's out there and tell them how to apply it, and help them get it to where it's what they want it to be. So with RGL, and I have students coming in, when students are thinking about this and they're not sure, but they think they want to do it, but they don't think they have the skills, send them to me. I can always work with somebody that doesn't know anything that wants to do something. And so if you have that, any thought that you really want to do it, but you're afraid you're not going, you can do it. We can get you there. That's what my job is to help those students do what they want to do. And I am more than happy to work with somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and get them to where they want to be. I can help you that way. I can't help you if you don't want to do it. But the students that come to me, they want to do it, they do good, and I think they have a really good time doing it.
I'm Carolina Keaton. I'm a senior from Morgan County High School. I'm with Morgan County ATC, that's what our RGL's through. And I've been a member of the Robot Gladiator League for a year. So one of my favorite parts of RGL has been, I'm actually our social media manager. So one of my favorite parts has been watching Morgan County RGL, as well as RGL like as a whole, like grow over this year. One of our most like viral reels has almost 2,500 views, which I think is pretty good, given our following. And we actually hosted the inaugural Vulcan Legion Melee back in November, and it was great to see like how our community like kind of like got behind us and everyone was cheering for us, and it was really great to see that support from our community. So from RGL, I'm taking away, well, number one, a family that I didn't know I had. Our RGL team is very close knit, and just the way that we've collaborated this year has been really great. Going into college, I'm going to be majoring in marketing and management, so I'm kind of taking the skills that I've learned as our social media manager into that. And like for my career goal, I want to open a like social media marketing agency. So having like that background this year has kind of helped me in terms of my career path as well as just in general. But probably teamwork and collaboration. Our teams worked really well together, and if another team member needed help, designing a weapon, I could be there as a resource, or vice versa. We just really work really well together. Yeah, so RGL, I will say, even just in 1 year being a member, it's been life-changing. RGL has provided opportunities that I didn't even know were possible. Going into college and transitioning out of high school, it can provide job opportunities and internships. And it's been one of those programs that had I not had, I wouldn't have the opportunities that I have today. I think that anybody that can join should join, and it's really been an outstanding program this year, and I kind of wish that I had a couple more years, but just in the 1 year that I've been in it, it's been wonderful, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the future.